Hi, folks. Welcome. We're letting everyone in, and then we'll go ahead and get started. And the program will be recorded. I think that was mentioned in our information about this panel discussion, but I just want to make sure everyone is aware. And you will get a link to the recording after the event. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. So, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Lunch and Learn today on the state of art markets. We are really great, happy to have you joining us for your lunch hour today. This will be about a 1 hour session on Zoom, of course, and we will have time for our moderated questions that many of you submitted ahead of time. And then as time permits, we'll have a few questions at the end as well. One quick note, you may have seen that Morgan from Patchwork was listed in our original promotion. Unfortunately, she had to back out due to a medical issue, and we just really wish her a smooth recovery. We're so grateful to have Caitlin Ward joining us today and bringing her unique perspective to the conversation. So let's go ahead and introduce the panelists. We have Justin Rabick of the Big Crafty in Asheville, Lydia Wernz from the Makers Market in Charlotte, and then, as I mentioned, Caitlin Ward here locally with the Hartwell Raleigh. So, as I said, we're going to start with those questions and then we'll open it up as time permits. If you have questions as we're going through, please feel free to enter those into the chat. I have Cynthia and Beth from our staff that are here to help as well in the background. And so we'll be able to filter those as they come in. Okay. So with that, we will go ahead and dive in. So the first question that I have is, what makes, in your opinion, what makes an art market truly successful, like for the organizers and the artists? So Justin, I'll start with you.
Hey, Justin Raybuck. What, can you repeat the question? You were going out for a second.
Oh, sure. What makes an art market truly successful for you as the organizer and for the artist, just as a big picture?
I would say part of like people being there. I feel like that's like my big job is to get people there. And to make it, if there's an event that is fun and feels like community and it feels like the whole community is really represented. And we always, with the Big Crafty, we always offer our last day as a free day, no admission. And I feel like that's the best way to kind of authentically invite the entire community with no strings attached. I would say fun, and then the feedback of connections, and of course, a financial win is a big bonus. But I think if it feels like a party and you kind of feel that buzz of people saying happy crafty or whatever in the morning, and just having a fun event that a lot of amazing people. I'm always blown away that I get to hang out with so many people who are pretty amazing, super amazing.
Caitlin, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I mean, I think he nailed it on the head. I think community, first and foremost, getting the community to show up, and but on the backside, there's also the marketing and the engagement through social media or word of mouth or advertising. I think that is a huge part of it too. But yeah, I think Justin nailed it on the head. Make it fun, like you said. Make it a party. Make it a place people want to come, and they want to hang out, and they want to shop and engage and eat and drink, and so yeah.
Great. So as we look ahead, how do you see art markets evolving in the next few years? Lydia, can you share your opinion on that?
Yeah, I think that there are a lot of art markets happening now and starting up. So it's causing us to kind of pivot a little bit to try to differentiate ourselves from others. So I think
Mhm.
you're going to see a lot more activities. I think you're going to see, I've personally do a lot of co-op events where, for example, we just started doing this thing where we in the morning, like 10 a.m., before the brewery, because it's at a brewery, before the brewery even opens, we do a puppy yoga, and then right it ends as the brewery opens and then a market starts. So not only have we built in these 20, 25, 50 tickets that we sold, so now we have a guaranteed 25, 40, 50 customers that are going to be shopping, their endorphins are going to be high, and then maybe at the end we'll get a puppy adopted. So I think you're going to see a lot of more creativity within our event.
Mhm. Mhm. Justin?
I I think we're gonna see, because we're kind of coming into this, not kind of, we're totally coming into this world of AI, and of course, like, a million markets almost every day. I think people are, like, kind of getting into, um, kind of almost like slow fashion heirlooms, and something
Mhm.
that is, has personalization. There's an artist named Paris with Milkweed Stitch who, has done collaborations with other artists who will make like stockings or whatever it is, and then they will chain stitch names or something personal to it, and that's like something that has been talked about so many times since last December. Like, it was
Mhm.
mentioned just the other day. I think personalization is going to be is kind of a where things are headed somewhat. I mean, it always has been special, but the heirlooms are, we're hearing more and more about that.
Caitlin, do you have anything to add? Your view on
Yeah,
how they're evolving? Yeah.
totally. Yeah, no, I agree with everything they just said. Talking about experiences and
Mhm.
personalizing it. I definitely agree. There's so many markets. It seems like everyone's doing a market. So how do you differentiate? How do you make it special? How do you make people want to come to you, to what you are doing? So for us, experiences are a huge thing. Adding in, we do like a little piercing pop-up, or flash tattoos, something unique that not everyone else is doing. When we partner with the LGBT Center, we have drag shows, the performers and stuff like that. So yeah, I think the competition is going to grow for sure, as non-traditional places start doing markets, which I think, especially in downtown Raleigh, we're seeing a lot. So
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. So let's move on to talk more about some advice, like things that you might give to artists. So, what advice would you give someone that's just starting out? Like, how do you find good markets? I mean, obviously, all of your markets are great, but when they're looking, at the totality of what's available, we talked about there's so many things popping up, so many markets. What advice would you give someone that's starting out? We'll go ahead.
If
Go
okay.
ahead, Lydia. Yeah.
I always tell people to check out the market if they can, or to check out a similar market beforehand. So I host a lot of repeating markets at similar, whether they're quarterly or yearly. I do them frequently. So I always tell people, like, go check it out. Just go hang out for like an hour, see what you see if it fits your vibe. And not every market is going to fit everybody. So the people that live 10 minutes to the left are not going to shop for the same thing of the people that live 10 minutes to the right. So you have to make sure that you're not just going to a market that your neighbor said, "Oh, I sold a bunch of crochet stuff," because you might be selling, art, and it's just not the art that that area wants. So I always tell people, like, make sure you're checking out the area beforehand to make sure it fits your vibe, because it doesn't matter how great or how poor the market is. If you are not selling the product that that area wants, you're not going to do well in it. And then I also always tell people to not put a lot of pressure on themselves, because some people will start doing markets and they'll do like 20 markets in a month. And it's like, hey, breathe, like it's okay if you say no to some markets. It's okay if you don't go to every market. Like, don't tear yourself apart trying to make it to markets, because there's going to be another one next month. Like, you're going to be okay. So those two things is check out the area and be easy on yourself.
Caitlin?
Yeah, no, totally what Lydia said. I mean, find out what speaks to you, what feels good to you, what aligns with your brand and what you're trying to sell. Not every market is for everybody, exactly like she said. I forgot my train of thought. Sorry. Oh, I was also just going to say, use social media, ask on your stories. What market should I try? Hey, I heard about this, what do you guys think of this market? Like, I see those posts all the time, and Hartwell gets tagged in those, which I love, and I love to see. And then I can reach out to those artists as a event planner. So just ask your friends, ask people that are selling similar things to you. They don't have to be your competition. You guys can learn a lot from each other. So just ask. That's the biggest thing.
Justin?
Yeah, everything you all have said is exactly what I would say. And if you're visiting a market, if there is that appropriate time to step in and talk with an artist, ask how they're doing, ask if they are getting wholesale accounts from the market, ask if there's like that financial return, ask if there is, how their neighbors make them feel. I mean, there's like, just getting back to community, it's like kind of the to me, one of the most important aspects of this. There's someone who makes frames, and he just framed something for me, and I went out to a studio. This is a few weeks ago, and he was saying all of these frames, it was like it was probably like 60, 70 frames that he had started. He was like, these are all from customers that I met at the December Big Crafty. It's like things don't necessarily happen that day sometimes. I mean, he said he did great, but it's like that's the kind of thing that kind of fills you with purpose. And I mean, it just feels good to hear that kind of thing, because it makes you feel hopeful in these times.
Yes. We talked about earlier about all the pop-ups that are occurring around, and we see so many that are available for artists, and that they maybe shouldn't feel like they have to pick everyone. That I know Lydia talked about that. But are you seeing like any burnout or apathy from potential vendors or potential artists, because there's so many, or because they're worried about the state of the economy, or whatever those things are? Do you see have you seen any changes this year, with like the number of applicants you've seen or anything like that?
Not with the number of applicants.
Yeah.
Not with the number of applicants, but it's the same story a lot of the time, where you'll see them go hard, and so they'll have a bunch of events in the beginning, and then they just drop out. And that's when, and it doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen, where that's just what I noticed, is that there are always people that are doing a ton of events at the beginning and they slow down, and the people that are more prone to make it are those that are, they're doing events, but they're not doing 3 or 4 events a day. They're not getting that drain. They're taking some Saturdays to, spend time with their family or celebrate birthdays or whatever. They're not missing special events because they had to be at a market. I think those are the people that are making it the longest, the ones that are taking their time with it and really taking the process in, instead of just going all in right in the beginning, and then getting tired quickly.
Caitlin, have you seen any changes?
Well, I was just going to say, I think, a lot of the vendors and the artists we work with also have they have 9 to 5 jobs. So,
Yeah.
a lot of them during market season, they dedicate their entire weekend to markets, and it's not a 4-hour time frame. They're waking up early to prep, to set up, to pack, to travel. And then, the market ends, and then it's the same thing all over again just to get home. So it's a full day of work, like on their weekends. So I think toward the holidays is when we start to see, the burnout, especially from, we work with, a lot of food vendors and stuff they have to make their food that same day.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's when we see people just exhausted and ready, ready for the holidays to be over. But applicants are still going great for us. Whenever we put out a call for vendors, we do get a lot of interest, which we're very lucky to have. Yeah.
Great. One question that came in, or kind of two questions kind of together, is about what do you see that is different that successful artists do at your markets? Like we talked about ones that that maybe go too hard initially or certain times and get burnt out. But you've seen, the wide array of artists at your markets. What are some common mistakes that they should avoid, and what do you see that the ones that are truly successful that they do a little bit differently?
Mm-hmm.
If you could kind of, give like 1 or 2 points about that.
Yeah.
Lydia?
Put down your phone. Just put down your phone. I mean,
Yeah.
I cannot tell people enough. Put down your phone. Interact with people.
Engage.
I mean, there are people that will make sales, not even because the person was going to buy their product, but because they liked that person so much that they were like, hey, $20 to have this conversation anytime, So put down your phone. We have a vendor. Her product is phenomenal. I mean, it is. I buy it every time I see her. I probably book her because I want to need her product at times. Like, I love her so much, but she will not put down her phone. And so when she talks to me and she's like, oh, I didn't make that many sales, I'm like, I need to take away your phone when you check in, because if you just put it down, you would be
Yeah.
so just put down your phone, interact with people. If you don't want to interact with people, bring your friend that will interact with people, because those interactions are what's making that sale.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was just going to say,
say Caitlin. Yes. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, promoting and research, like no one likes to sell themselves. No one likes to promote themselves. Like it's hard, but you got to do it. If you sign up for this market, like you're paying to be there. Like tell everyone you're going to be there. Right. I don't think that should all fall on the organizer's shoulders. Like, of course, it's up to us to do all the marketing, the promoting, advertising, everything. But, you have to do your part too. So I think, promoting yourself, exactly like she said, get off your phone, stand up, walk around, smile. I hate to say it, but, smile, talk to the other vendors.
Yeah.
If it's all about the dollar, then you might not have the best day. But, if you look at it as a networking event, if you say, okay, who can I meet today? Who can I talk to? What can I get out of this, besides just my sales? Look at the bigger picture, I think is a big part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Justin?
Yeah, all those everything they said.
Yeah.
The phone thing, it always putting down your phone is like so much. You're so right, Lydia. And being, you don't necessarily have to be like, hey, you want to, super salesy with it, but be approachable and have a kick-ass booth, have something that is like going to draw people in, like that shows your voice. And absolutely, I think something that makes things, you see the artists that get there on time, they get their things set up, they like are so meticulous and so they're taking notes, they're taking photos to see what may work better at another space or whatever it may be, but just kind of doing that that homework to make sure that your booth looks super amazing, and
Yeah.
don't hide behind your work,
Mm-hmm.
because people do really want that connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I would also say, enough with the business cards. Like I can't tell you how many people have quit using business cards. It's such an easy, like I've done it where I've grabbed a business card and it's just like an easy out. And there's no like, it kind of lets you off the hook as far as like an impulse buy, or like I'll sleep on it. I think make sure you have them ready to go to hand out, but I would not like have that a front and center get out of jail card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. We had a question, Justin, that came in the chat, and because it's relevant to this particular conversation about artists being successful at markets. Do you have an opinion or any advice about like what's the best kind of like table display or booth display? Should it be, L shaped, U shaped? Do you guys have any type of, experience or advice about that
I
type of
mean,
those type of presentations, I guess?
I would definitely say it depends on what the work is. If it's
Mhm.
and I think having something that is not just like flat on a table,
Mhm.
it's amazing to look over 18 years of photos and see like where someone started and like how pro they are now.
Mhm.
I would say get things, elevate them. I just make it look full, lots of work, and make sure that you there's like your voice is seen. Like when people look at your booth, they know what is yours. Sometimes props can be amazing. Sometimes people, I've was at a I'm trying to think which market it was, but it was hard to tell what was their work and what came from, it was just like to kind of enhance. That's kind of going off on a tangent. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, I think
I'm,
so. It did. It did because you talked about the table display and about
yeah.
having things elevated and where people can see them and
I
having it look full. Yeah.
People that kind of create a very mini store or like a retail setting, if you're
Mhm.
working with 10 by 10, um, I think sometimes like a canopy, especially indoors, is like distracting. Um, the but I've also seen them look great, and
Mhm.
um, it really, so much of it depends on what you are what you're selling. And I think
Mhm.
especially if you're sharing a booth, kind of having like if you have two 8-foot tables going this way and people can walk in and have a conversation with two different artists, or even switch it up and let each other be one another's cheerleader.
Mhm.
I've seen that work well because it is hard to talk about yourself.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it can be. Um, so now we'll talk a little bit more and we'll circle back to any other questions that are coming up. I know that Cynthia is busy keeping collecting those that are coming in the chat. Um, as far as like the audience and potential buyers, people that are coming to shop, what do you do to successfully draw or target like your buying crowd? How do you get people there? Caitlin?
I think for us, it's knowing our audience. Hartwell in particular our location is unique. We're sandwiched between a residential neighborhood, a very large, very popular neighborhood, and downtown Raleigh, which right now, I mean, I'm looking out the window and it's just booming with developments, which are, young professionals on one side and families, you know, um, elder millennials, on the other side. So it's knowing who's coming, um, and knowing how to appeal to them, how to market to them. So for us, that's huge. It's like, I know that I can do a little play on pop culture, you know, I know that I can make some like Gen Z jokes, you know, kind of a thing. It's like, first of all, know who's coming. And that's the biggest thing. Know your audience. We don't have the foot traffic of being smack dab in the middle of downtown Raleigh. When people come to our space, it's because there is something going on. So we have to work really hard to promote that and to market that. And it's been a lot of trial and error, and I think we're just kind of figuring that out the past year or two, especially as the development really, really blooms right next to us. So yeah, just, you know your audience, know who you're marketing to, know who's going to come and who's going to spend money. You know, don't waste your time trying to sell it to people who might, you know that it's not your crowd, it's not your audience. So yeah.
Right. Lydia?
Sorry, I was muted. Same. You just have to know who you're advertising for. I said it before, what's going to work 10 minutes this way is not going to work 10 minutes that way. So you just have to know. For me, I have various venues, so I have to know the difference in each venue. Like here, South Charlotte is very different than South End Charlotte. So just that my you know, when you're choosing who you're going to advertise to, there are keywords that I'm putting in certain ads that I'm not putting in others, because for some I'm advertising for families, for some I'm advertising for more of like that mid-20s singles, like blah blah blah. So it's just exactly what she said. You just have to know who you're advertising it to, so that the people that we're bringing are those that want to shop, not just people that happen to be in the area you know.
And just kind of to further that, when you do your promotions, or when say everybody has gotten there, do you track attendance? Do you know who's there? Like how many people are there in general? Is there a way that you collect that data to know? Justin, do you have any input
Yeah,
on
I mean,
that?
the Civic Center, I mean, because we also get charged per person that comes
Yeah,
in.
yeah, ticket sales.
So that's kind of an easy thing. But as far as the question before, I would definitely, like, I don't have a street team hanging up posters. I don't, like, face to face constantly for weeks leading up to it and getting to know. I mean, luckily, Asheville, you know, is a tourist destination, and people definitely come here. There's a lot of towns in Appalachia that are beautiful, nestled in a valley and everything. But people do come here for the craft, whether it's food, drink, art, and so I definitely hit hotels hard. And way back, I would give tickets for the hotel to give their guests, and now I've kind of flipped it and made it for the, you know, for the people working at the hotel or the restaurant or wherever I am, because they are the community. And so yeah, I think that face to face, getting people excited, and people are excited, and you'll see a concierge like all like happy when I come in and say it's time for Big Crafty. Do I get some tickets? Or they'll say I've got family coming in for it, and we're happy to do that. And it's really just about like getting people in front of these amazing artists that we work with.
So based on that, now that you have, you've gotten people there, do you see any trends in terms of related to people are worried about cost of living or inflation? Do you see that the market revenue or attendance has decreased over, the past year? Have you noticed any changes in that? Caitlin?
I don't think so. Not the market attendance. I mean, I think that's kind of directly related to like marketing and promotion and stuff in our experience. I'm sorry, I forgot the first part of your question.
Well, the first part was more like the question was about like the revenue and attendance. Do you see any decrease in either of those or both?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so far, I don't think we have.
Mm-hmm.
Our vendor fees, they go directly toward like entertainment and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just go right back into the market usually, you know,
Right.
not all of it, of course. But you know, we have a bar on site, so our bar sales, having bar sales here really help for us to be
Mm-hmm.
able to host our own markets as well. So
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
Lydia, I think you're muted again. Yeah,
I have dogs. I've been trying to save you guys
that's
from hearing them
okay.
whining at my door. I at my smaller events, yes. At my bigger events, no. At my smaller
Okay.
events, because some of them are at breweries, I've cut back significantly there because I think when a lot of so breweries just want people to be at the door. They want events to happen
Sure.
there. Whether it's my market, whether it's somebody else's market, somebody else, they don't care as long as something's happening there. So those markets have had a lot more of these newer markets kind of come in and saturate. So breweries for me right now have those events have suffered as far as that goes, just because what used to be a once a month quirky thing that a brewery did has now become a weekly thing that a brewery is doing.
Sure.
Even if it's not with me, they're doing it with other markets, which is fine. I don't mind sharing the platform. I'm just sharing the. So those markets have seen a little bit of a dip because again, it used to be once a month, now it's every month. So if I don't buy it this week, I can buy it next week. And that's why we've kind
Sure.
of been adding more things to our markets to try to get people to shop more. So that's where I've noticed the decrease in some sales just as we navigate that change up. But my normal, like my Pride market, my shopping center markets, my bigger events, those I have not seen a decrease at all.
Okay. Justin?
Yeah, we haven't really seen a decrease. I think sales, I would assume sales are, and they are typically better around the holidays than they are in
Mm-hmm.
July, but we've
Mm-hmm.
heard from a ton of artists that it was their best market ever this past summer. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Um, so what about have you noticed anything if you survey, do you actually survey your vendors or your participants after the event to kind of see what their sales were or the attendees, how they like the market? Do you have any feedback or do you gain feedback from that? And do you share it with the vendors?
Um, at my smaller ones, I've started to take now just because I need to know if I don't want to waste anybody's time. So if an event's not going to
Right,
do good, I want to make sure if it's not making anybody money, there's no point in it. So I've started to do that. In my bigger events, I admit I don't typically, I know people are making sales. It's like I'm walking around the whole time so I can see.
right.
But for 2026, I am going to be taking more a direct approach because I do want to be able to look at my own notes and see what my changes have been to where before I've just looked at, normal
Mhm.
market patterns, general market patterns. Now I want to look at my own patterns and to make sure that I'm, meeting and surpassing those same goals.
Right.
So no, but
Yeah.
I will.
Yes. Justin?
Um, yeah, we definitely survey our artists and beyond like the total sales and comparisons and kind of the financial, the marketing, the personal, the wholesale, like how did you
I'm
benefit from these? I'm sorry.
no, your voice was going in and out for me. That could
Oh,
be on my
sorry.
end. That's okay.
Okay, sorry. Um, yeah, we definitely survey. We also ask for, we're fine to have like a narrative, ways to improve what worked. Do you have anything that we would be able to share? And we, of course, ask for permission, um, you
Hmm.
know, that we'll add accolades or whatever to our website, that kind of thing.
Yeah. see. I think we may have, oh, there's, Caitlin, do you have anything to add?
Um, Not really. Surveying is something, it's definitely on my to-do list that I would like to add. I would like to incorporate. Our markets tend to be like on the smaller side, less than like between like 20 and 30 vendors. So, I am present for every market. I'm walking around, I'm here greeting all the vendors. I'm here throughout the entire event, trying to talk to everyone as the event's going on, and I try to check in as much as I can with everyone during the event. Um, but I think that is something that I could be better at for sure, is some sort of, follow up. Um, so yeah.
Okay. So that came in is that about the fees for the market. Uh, so the fees that apply to the participants kind of vary at different markets. They vary from event to event and organizer to organizer. How do you set your booth fees? Because many artists are interested in knowing like how does each market set those fees, because they can vary so drastically between market to market.
I
Lydia?
well, I feel like I didn't mean to start a market. It just kind of happened. So
Mhm.
I've kept more or less like my side, my job. And I started doing this to have low cost platforms. And that's kind of been our thing, is that our platforms are as low as I can possibly get them. So because of that, I've been able to, I basically, it all depends on the venue, right? Like if the venue is like, hey, I need music. Hey, I need this much marketing. Hey, I need you to pay me this much per vendor. I mean, I just did a market where my vendor booth fee for the weekend was $150, but 100 of that went to the venue. So I had
Mhm.
$50 where I had to market, like I had to advertise, I had to print out stuff, I had to pay for the insurance, I had to do,
Mhm.
900 things. I think I made like $4 per vendor that day. But
Yeah.
luckily, like the platform was great, you know? So it all really depends on so many outside factors. If a venue is like, hey, come in, we just want you to do this event, then I will price it as low as I can so that I know that my coordinators are making a little bit of money and everyone's going to be happy and people, no matter what their scale is, can participate. But if a venue is saying, like, hey, I'm going to take 100 out of your 150, then I have to price it high because I still have to do all the things that I normally have to do for other markets.
Mhm.
And you just never know what a venue is going to. And then also, like, insurance can be really high. And for us to have a good event, we have to have insurance because something bad happens. I can't afford a $10,000 hit, you know?
Right.
Um, but yeah, so it's a lot of outside sources. It's, do we need music? Do we need to hire a security guard? Do we need a city permit? Do we need an alcohol permit? Do we need blah, 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 blah? So all of that factors in for sure.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't think, I think that's something behind the scenes that a lot of artists don't understand, that oftentimes events need insurance. They need those things that actually go into the market fee, the booth fee. Justin, do you have anything else to add about the market fees?
Um, yeah, I would definitely say always have insurance. Like that's
Yeah.
no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, Big Crafty 18 years ago, I was really just trying to impress Brandy and was like, we booked the Gray Eagle, this amazing listening room music venue in town, and I think we charged like $20, and I didn't know that artists would bring tables and stuff, so I went to like every school and church I could, but there were 30, 40 vendors, and set up tables. So it's very much a learning curve, but we just like so slowly grew um with our price. And we didn't charge a application fee, and then when you're getting 1,200 applications, um you rethink that, and but we've always tried to make it accessible, and we definitely look at other markets, and we frequently wish that we were charging as much. But we're just as excited, probably more excited about like the basement artist giving it a shot. And I wouldn't want to deter having something new and awesome come along. So yeah, we also offer scholarships for first time kind of thing. So that's all like that's been successful in the past. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Caitlin, do you have anything else to add about the booth fees or market costs?
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say, I guess Hartwell's different in that we own our building and we have our own events on site.
Yeah.
So like I mentioned, having our own bar, that's huge. That definitely helps our revenue. But, we don't charge an application fee. I keep vendor fees between $50 to $60 max. I don't think I've ever charged more than $60 for a market. And that's because that's usually when we are partnering with a organization and we're donating a portion of ticket sales and vendor fees back to the nonprofit. So for us, our vendor fee, like I think I said before, that goes straight to having a band play here for 4 hours, and that's usually anywhere between $500 to $1,000. That pays for us to staff our event. That pays for all of our overhead costs to turn the lights on, to keep the water running. So we have all of our housekeeping fees that we have to think of. Of course, we have insurance, obviously. So yeah, my goal was to never have to charge, for a lot for vendors. I feel like we do well. We have a lot of repeat vendors that come back, and I think it's because our fee is accessible and approachable. Even the holiday markets, we don't jack up prices for that. So I like Justin was saying, I don't want someone just starting out thinking they can't afford to try a market, so hopefully and I say low, I know $50 is a lot, to some people too, but not a huge investment to just be able to participate in the market. Like, I hope that doesn't turn them away from wanting to try one of ours. So
What just happened?
Did Tiffany freeze?
Yeah, I think so.
Also, just real quick, I want to go back to something Justin said. You should get insurance. Insurance is huge. There was an event here that happened. It wasn't me, but there was another market that we had a hurricane warning, and they went ahead with their market anyway. They didn't cancel it because they didn't have insurance. And everybody's stuff was destroyed. I mean, nobody was able to get anything done. So that's just a heads up to everybody. If you can get insurance, get insurance.
Yeah. I also wanted to say, to your point, you said like $100 of each vendor fee was going to the venue. Oh my God. That number just like blew my socks off for a second.
Well, and it's hard because I don't want to put, I don't want to do that with everybody. I don't want to tell every vendor, hey, don't be mad at me. Like, I've only got $50 to play with. But like, I think it is fair. Like somebody just said now, like if we don't explain where our fees go, how are they supposed to understand? And I think that's a very good point. Simultaneously, I can't give you every penny and exactly where it went. I'm going to do my best to break it down, but I can't also break down the fact that like I spend, $200 on website fees, that like my staff also, I have to pay $14 a month for email, and all of those little charges have to go into our vendor fees because we have to cover those at the end of the month. And that's, and there's processing fees for every payment that we take, and there's all these things. So it's like sometimes it's hard to explain exactly where every single one of your dollars goes, just because the math is so convoluted with everything that we have to pay for just to exist.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And
I think.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Justin.
I
Go ahead.
was just going to say it varies so much from when we were at the National Art Museum. They were taking a percentage of vendor fees, but we were still taking care of insurance, security, street closures, the permits to pull the street closures.
Oh
We
yeah.
have volunteers, but we pay everyone. The and then you think about a larger venue like the Civic Center here, the Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville. They we're paying for the space to load in the day before. You're paying for all their staff. You're paying per person that comes in, which is like can be 8 to 13,000 people. That's like another big thing at the end. So the more successful, the more we pay, which is fine. But there's a million fees: putting up the banners around town,
Oh,
pulling the permits for that, and then having them installed and taken down. You could go on and on and on, beyond
I
what
think,
looks like a
yeah,
regular
I
vendor
think
fee.
yeah, and I think it's so great. You guys, this is Cynthia Dice. Tiffany is having tech difficulties, so I just jumped in. I just wanted to say thank you guys all for saying those things. We've had a lot of questions in the chat about that. I think a lot of these artists, because in some ways the artists are your customers, right? The market customers are sort of a secondary customer, and the artists are your customers in a market. And I think a lot of artists have questions about where do their application fees go? Where do their vendor fees go? And just like I can see the chat. Some of people are directly chatting to me, and some are chatting in the group chat. They're like, "Oh, I didn't think about insurance. Oh, I didn't think about this. I didn't think about this." Like it is, in my experience, most market runners are doing it because they love the market and the idea of a market and making in the market. They're not doing it so they can drive off in a Mercedes after the market that they paid for with their market. So, yeah. Yeah.
True.
And
Yeah.
then there was somebody in the chat that did talk about having attendees pay like an entrance fee. I know that Justin, you do have entrance fees for your markets. Caitlin and Lydia,
Just
you
for the day
don't.
one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that, about how does that change your market feel? Lydia, you don't have them. Why do you not have fees?
So there is a huge market here that is unbelievably popular, like unbelievably popular. I worship them essentially. And they did an event where they charged, X amount for this, X amount for this package, X amount for that package. And from what I know, at the end, they were just letting everyone in for free because people were coming up being asked to pay $15 and turning right around and leaving. And so when I was walking inside, some of the vendors were like, well, I paid, X amount to be here, blah, 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 blah. So it's like, okay, I mean, to me, I would rather charge you $40 to come and set up for the whole day and know that I'm going to get people to go there that each will give you their $10 than collect $80 from these people, charge you nothing, and then you also get nothing because they gave me those $80. So for me, I think for certain events like Justin's, which is an event that is, waited for, it's promoted on such a great scale. It's a huge event. It is a whole world within itself. Having that fee is appropriate, but like for me, where my events are a little bit smaller, I couldn't have that fee. And then another thing too is part of having a vendor fee is a guarantee that those vendors will be there. Because I can throw an event with 20 vendors and not charge a fee and charge the people that are coming in or whatever. But if those vendors didn't pay a fee, what's going to promise me that they're going to show up that day?
That's
Like
right.
I have no guarantee that these people are going to show up. So I need to make sure that you also have a little bit on the line so that the day that the event happens, you're going to show up, you're going to be there, and you're going to be ready to sell. Because if I give away my event and you don't show up, not only do I look bad to the customers, I look bad to the venue, I look bad to the other vendors, I look bad to everybody. So for me, I don't charge fees. I want you to get that money. And then also I need a guarantee that you're going to be there day of.
Yeah.
Well, and that touches on to the idea of application fees. But Justin, go ahead and make your comment, and then we'll come back to
I was
application
just
fees
going to
because we
say
had a question about that. Yeah.
I think having Big Crafty was always free, but surveying vendors, as we talked about, the weather, outdoor events just became more and more unpredictable. 2 years in a row of rain, everyone was excited to go to the Civic Center for 2 days. And because of that fee that we don't really talk about, on top of everything, we're charged, $1 per person, or whatever it is. And so having that, and we're the only event in that space that ever has a free component. But having a free component is so important. And then, of course, there are people that don't like huge crowds, so they're willing to pay $10 to come in or whatever the day before, or get first dibs on things. But we definitely grew into that. That was not, in the first 14 years or whatever. So I think having a free component is like the best way to authentically invite the community, like everyone.
Yeah. So we did have several questions about application fees. I know that some markets charge application fees to make sure that applications are legitimate. Sort of to go back to what you were saying, Lydia, that, if you don't pay for a booth, you might just decide not to get up that day and come to the market. So if you guys, who's willing to talk a little bit about why you charge an application fee for your specific market and how you set your application fee, if you do? Justin? Yeah.
When we were not charging an application fee, we were literally getting well over 1,200, 1,300 applications, and there just isn't, we all have, Brandy and I have full-time jobs. It just wouldn't be doable. And I think it's also, I would say at least 5 to 8% of our applications are full of typos, a URL that is a letter off, or whatever it is. There's like a lot of, there's a lot of time that goes into every single application. But it also, like, there is like more of a seriousness to it. But we're kind of at a point where we're not even, like, we haven't really mentioned anywhere that applications are open for the, because it does kind of feel weird to like advertise for, hey, applications are open. We will do it, but we're not going to beat it to death because we don't have enough space for everyone who applies.
Yeah.
So it's more of like a nudge, a reminder. What's up, Tiffany? You're back.
I am. I had a little incident here with the Wi-Fi in my studio, so apologize for that.
Well,
We
and I
love
also want to
technology.
I want to add to Justin's thing. So let's just say that there is a market and you have to pick, 5 jewelry vendors, right? But 30 jewelry vendors applied. Now how long is it going to take you to go onto 30 applications, review 30 applications, go on their Instagram, Facebook, MySpace. Oh my God, how old am I? Okay, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. It's going to take you a long time to go through their Etsy and make sure that they're going to fit the vibe and blah, blah, blah. So I don't necessarily, when you have as many as 1,200 applications, I think if that were in the situation, I also would probably put a fee on it because it is so time consuming to do that. I mean, sometimes it takes longer to do that than it does to host a whole market,
Yeah.
So if you put it in those forms of like, how long would it take you to truly go into 30 people's MySpace profiles? And that's a long time, it's going to take you a while. So, just kind of part of the process, just adding to Justin's.
And that now we don't have 1,200 applications per event now. You know what I mean? It's like, it made it more serious. It was like, and you're 100% right about charging something for artists. It is the only way to guarantee. Same thing with volunteers. It's like that's why we pay them, so they'll show up. You've got to have like a little something on the line.
Yeah.
Because we all do. I mean, we put so much into it.
Yeah. I mean, I've just started doing like a high no-show fee, but my no-show fee doesn't go to me. It goes to a dog shelter. So that way
That's
nobody really
cool.
benefits from it. Like I'm not really making money because you didn't show up, but hey, the dog shelter just got $80, you know? But that $80 is still significantly high that it does keep people from not wanting from not, you know, from wanting to leave early or not wanting to show up or whatever. Luckily, we don't deal with that too much. But I
Right.
think part of it is because I have such a deep no-show fee. And again, I don't benefit from it. It literally goes directly to the dog shelter.
Right.
That's
Um,
cool.
but it
How do you
does.
enforce that fee? How do
Yeah.
you collect that
So
fee?
if you don't show up, if you don't send me a screenshot that you donated to the dog shelter and then I go and I like confirm it with them, then you're not going to be allowed to participate in upcoming markets.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
if you did, let's say you paid for 3 markets already and you paid me, I don't know, $100, right? Well, that $100, $80 of that just got donated to the shelter. So now you've only paid $20. You still owe me another $80. So I'm pretty hardcore about the no showing because
Yeah.
somebody else wanted to be there and I gave that spot to you. You
Uh-huh.
need to be
Hmm.
respectful of not necessarily even me or the venue, but the other artists that wanted to be there in your place.
Yes.
Yeah, the neighbors who planned their booth around having someone next to them. Yeah,
Right.
it all matters.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. But I also don't want to just be like, oh, give me all your money, blah, ha, ha, you know? I don't really care. I just want it. So I just say, you know, I pick a dog shelter or I pick a dog rescue and that's where it goes. And hopefully it
Yeah.
does a little bit of good. You like you not showing up did a little bit of good in a weird
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. I think that's really important, Lydia, because um, I think it's important for artists to understand how their presence there or their absence there lends to the overall experience of the show. If they're not, you know, if there's like missing gaps in the show, the way the layout, the floor plan, it makes a difference to the shoppers.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
I just want to come in and let folks know we are at 1 p.m. So we should probably do, and I know Tiffany, you just came back, so I'm going to let
Yes.
you finish it, but we should probably do our closing remarks. So yeah.
Yes. So I just wanted to let everybody know, thank you all for being here today, especially for our panelists for joining us and agreeing to participate and share their knowledge with our community. Our recording will be available on our YouTube channel. I will send that information out to the registrants and the panelists. And we will also share a brief survey with you as well, just to get feedback on our programming and things that we can do better, things that or additional programming that you might like to see from us as well. So we thank you again for your time and apologies for my little blip in technology towards the end as well.
What an honor to
Yeah,
hang
thank
out
you.
with all of you. Thanks so much for taking the time and let me hang out with you.
Yeah,
Yes,
Thank
thank you so
you.
much.
definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. You guys were really great. Wonderful panelists.
Really great. Now go and get busy for your holiday markets.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm apparently going to go back to 2003 and check my MySpace. So
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't believe
love
I brought that up. Like,
I
what?
love that for you. You may cause a resurgence.
Yeah,
love
you
it.
never know.
God.
You never know.
Oh my
You
God.
never
There's
know.
people on here that are like, what's MySpace?
These
We
are wild
know.
times.
No, those,
Anything
if
can
they
happen.
don't know what MySpace is, they're like still in elementary school, right?
Oh
That's
my gosh,
right.
Right?
no, I was
Right.
trying to explain MySpace to my nephew. He's 10. And I was like, yeah, we had a top 8. And he's like, how did you decide your top 8? I was like, oh, it was like your top 8 people for the week. He was like, so if you just got mad at somebody, you just knocked them off your top 8? And I was like, yup.
Yeah.
I was like, it was dog eat dog out in like 8th grade, man. Like,
That's funny.
he was like, I could never do that. I was like, I did it weekly.
All the time. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, great. This
Oh
is
my
so
God.
great.
Yeah, thank you again so much, panelists. We have some we do have some upcoming events that we're going to be sharing out to you guys. So if you would want to share them out to your artists, we would love it.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Absolutely.
yeah, we always
Yes.
like it if when folks hear about our programming.
Yes, especially on this whole line of markets, basically how to get ready for, Black Friday and Cyber Monday, which is usually in conjunction with markets, is online sales in conjunction with in-person markets. So we'll be sharing that with you if you want to push it out to your communities as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
I will.
Yeah,
Thank you.
if you're ever doing anything that if you're tagging us, we'll try to repost or whatever.
Thank
Or you
you.
can just
Thank
shoot me
you.
a text. Y'all have it.
Yep.
Yes,
Same.
perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we
Okay.
appreciate that. So
And then
Thanks
Justin,
again, y'all.
Caitlin, I'll come up to Asheville for a weekend and hopefully catch both of y'all. Yeah, for sure. It'll be
Do
fun.
it.
Yes. Okay, bye-bye. Thanks,
Okay,
guys.
Bye.
thanks so
Thank
much, y'all.
thank
you.
you, everybody.
Bye.